All right, everybody, here we go. This is scene one, take three. We are back for another round of movie chit chat on Sunday night. This is episode 13. We are talking dinosaurs and lost worlds tonight. We're going to dive right into this because we have a really great show tonight. So let's get the normal crew up here. Let's get the picture out of the way, of course. Jim Noble here, my original partner in crime, the mighty third wheel David Fought is with us tonight as well. He's back, guys. Tonight this is a crazy night for me because we have a guest that blows my mind. We're going back to a little show that you all know. It's right behind me. It is Land of the Lost, guys. This is one of the most iconic shows maybe in TV history. Even though it only had 3 seasons, it has absolutely survived the test of time. It has been rebooted. It has been retconned. It has been turned into a movie. And tonight we're going to get to talk to one of the stars of the show. And he is here with us, Wesley Eure. What is happening, sir?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Excellent. So glad you're here with us. We were talking a little bit behind the stage, and we had a little story about somebody smiling. And basically, you're gonna just see me smiling the whole show. I'm freaking out right now, and I barely know where to begin with what we're doing. But of course, Wesley is one of the 3 primaries from Land of the Lost, playing Will for 3 seasons. One thing, as we were kind of doing a little research on you yourself, was we also figured out that you were doing Days of Our Lives basically at the same time.
I was. Well, they were both NBC shows, and I got Days of Our Lives first. I was playing Mike Horton, which I did for about a decade. And then I got Land of the Lost. So because they were both NBC shows, NBC let me do them. So in the morning, I got to shoot all my scenes at Days of Our Lives. And then I'd race over from Burbank out to General Services Studios in Hollywood. So in the morning, I'm crying that my girlfriend is leaving me. I've got marital problems. I have sexual problems. And then in the afternoon, I'm going, run, Holly, run. There's a dinosaur. It was a little schizophrenic, but it was the best job. I mean, I was the luckiest guy ever. I mean, I had 2 series going on. It was amazing. And, it was quite amazing. And the set of Land of the Lost was unbelievable. It was 2 complete sound stages with jungles and lagoons and chroma key blue screens and our interior caves. I mean, the props and the costumes. It was amazing. The sleek stack and the pakuni. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's back in nowadays that's all just CGI, but back in the day they had to build all that stuff for you guys to wander around in.
They did. I think Marty Croft, who produced the show, I think it took him like 8 hours to do 60 seconds of dinosaur move. So because it was all stop frame motion.
Sure.
And so the dinosaurs like photograph, and all that stuff. And because it was a Saturday morning show and they didn't have a big budget, so before each season, they got together and decided what animation to do. They used what was from last year, then created some new stuff, and then all the writers had to write according to whatever they had in the can for the dinosaurs.
Oh, wow.
Because there was no budget. And, and as you said, CGI, you just push, computer and the dinosaurs does this, But we were on, it was state of the art back then. I mean, I know it looks hokey now, but at the time it was the state of the art. It was the first time in history of television that they melded videotape with film in real time. So the dinosaurs were in film. We were on this giant blue screen that was called chroma key blue. It's green screen now, but it was chroma key blue, and it was huge. It was the whole floor, the sound stage, the walls and stuff, and they had a monitor, and so they'd play the dinosaur animation, and then they would be on the chroma key, and they would shrink us down to whatever size that they wanted us to be in proportion to the dinosaurs, and then they'd say, "Look at that light up there. That's Grumpy's head. Run this way." So we ran that way. But in the first episode, they had trouble doing it. They had the biggest technicians in Hollywood. It was award-winning technology. It had never been done before.
That's amazing. Yeah, I remember I had talked to Kathy at one point at WonderCon, and she had said that they were putting her on barrel, like she had to ride Dopey. So they would put her on a barrel, and she just had to kind of bounce around on the barrel. And
the barrel was painted the chroma key blue, and the rope was the chroma key blue. So and all that became invisible as with green screen, and and she just rocked on the barrel, and they pulled her in. So they had the animation. Dopey's going, and so the guys are Kathy's sitting on top of it, and the guys are pulling it in, and they're watching the screen, the animation, and they're pulling her at the same speed of the animation, and that's how she rode the dinosaur.
That's wild.
Wow,
that is wild.
I've never forgiven her because she's the only one that got to ride a dinosaur. So
is that right? Is that right? Like no one else ever rode a dinosaur?
My favorite line on Land of the Lost, Dopey was caught in a tree. Grumpy was coming to eat him, and Dopey's caught in a tree, and he screamed. And Grumpy's going, oh, I'm going to eat you. And I'm trying to go, Dopey, go. And Dopey's, and I finally go, do you want to be dinosaur stew? And Dopey, the animation goes, and rolls backwards and falls off. To me, it was my favorite moment.
Oh my gosh! So for those that don't know, we're going to flash a few pictures as we go through here. So here's you all together in one of the pylons, of course. I'm assuming that most of the people who are watching are going to have some understanding of Land of the Lost, if only from the movie from not too long ago. But this was something that really stuck out for me. Of course, we all love dinosaurs, and you have the mystery of the Lost City. Which, as I recall, the Lost City was written by Walter Koenig. Is that right?
No, Walter Koenig created Enoch.
Okay.
So Chekhov, the original Chekhov. In fact, Kathy and I do the Star Trek. We go to the Star Trek convention at the Rio every year, and we're the only other show that Star Trek lets in because our writers were all Star Trek writers, and of course Mike Westmore, who did the costumes and built Sleestaks, was the famous costumer. So David Gerald was our head writer. He wrote Trouble with Tribbles. Walter Koenig, the original Chekhov, created Enoch, the talking Sleestak, the orange one he was coming from the past. And D.C. Fontana and Larry Niven, Spinrad, all these amazing people. So Walter, every year, Walter's got his little hat on, he's shuffling along, and he sees our table, and he always comes over and says hi, and he goes, those damn Crofts, I should have gotten residuals for Enoch. I should have gotten residuals. He's a great guy, and he's been so generous to us.
That's great. Yeah. David Gerald basically, at least in his words, kind of created how all of this Land of the Lost works. He's done a lot of interviews where he's talked about how the pylon, all this stuff about how this works, how that works, why it works. He originally he had said something where the Land of the Lost was created as a stopover point for people using the pylons, and then of course, as we know in this story, that the Land of the Lost is actually the future of Enoch. Not where Enoch came from. So all of that basically fell apart at some point and degraded. And of course, then we have the Enochs, of course, turned into the Sleestaks, which was a cool little twist that we got from that series. And that not the last of the twists or turns in that whole show. Did it ever feel to you? I mean, and obviously they were kind of making it up as they went along, but did it ever feel to you like when you got a script, like, wait a minute, does this match with what we did before, or were you just kind of, let's just do the script and go, like, doing crystal combinations and stuff? Were they just kind of making it up on the fly?
No. You know what? It was written by the top sci-fi writers at the time. They were at the beginning of their careers. You could never have afforded them later because they were so famous. Like D.C. Fontana, Dorothy, who had to, of course, use D.C. because they wouldn't let women be sci-fi writers. So she had to pretend to be D.C. And but no, it was like the language of the Pakuni that Chaka spoke. Sarika Taka, Iwira Ari, Oskanza Bisasa, all of that was a real language. Froman, she was a linguist at UCLA. They took, I think, 8 different kinds of languages and melded together. There's actually a dictionary, and it was all done. Everything was because of David Gerald, and I give him total credit because I think Sid and Marty had once said that Land of the Lost was basically going to be like a Swiss Family Robinson with the father and the son on a camping trip. It wasn't sci-fi. But David Jarrell came in, and it became this sci-fi, and the scripts. I mean, I know it looks hokey now, but if you listen to the scripts written by, especially the first and second season, the sci-fi is amazing. It never talked down to kids. It talked about time zones and matrices, and he's from the past, not the present, and the concepts were amazing. I mean, we saw Kathy, one of the best ones by DC Fontana, which is Kathy Coleman, who played Holly's favorite one, is Elsewhere, where she meets herself in later life, and she doesn't believe it. And she asked what this cut is on the older self. She said, "Oh, you will find out." Mm-hmm. And she disappears into the mist, and Holly cuts herself at the same spot. It was amazing. And Sleet Stacks pretended to be our mother and tried to entice us to kill us. I mean, it was heavy duty. It was heavy. And I love it. It never talked down to kids. It never had to this is what we're doing. We're going to explain the sci-fi to you. No, they just said, this is the way it is. Time doorways and stuff, and learn it.
Yeah, no, very much so. I mean, it's a lot like old comic books where they used a lot of really big words in some cases, and you just kind of had to roll with it and figure it out what that meant. And with Land of the Lost, that was it. It's like, man, I want to see what those pylons do and all this kind of stuff. And of course, there were we talked about going from season 1 and 2 into season 3, which was definitely a different tone. A whole lot of things happened going into season 3. But in fact, as I was talking to Dave and Jim, I was like, you don't remember when Medusa showed up? I was like,
oh my gosh. It was our jumping the shark year. I mean, it was, Spencer Milligan played our dad, who, by the way, we're all very close family. I mean, to this day, Kathy and Phil Paley played Chaka, and Spencer Milligan and I played our dad. We are like, it's brother, sisters, and father. We literally talk to each other Kathy and I talked at least a couple times a week, and it's really nice. But Spencer decided to leave after the second season because of some contractual things, and we ended up with Ron Harper as our uncle. And I sang the theme songs for the show, so I had to go in and re-record a new theme song for the second season because the old theme song's lyrics didn't work for the third season.
That's right.
Because at first it was Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known. High on the rapids, it struck their tiny raft. Plunged them down 1,000 feet below to the land of the lost. And Grumpy goes, roar. So I had to go in, and then we had to change it to Will and Holly Marshall, as the earth beneath them trembled, lost their father through the door of time. Uncle Jack was searching and found the kids at last, looking for a way to escape from the land of the lost. Roar. So, it was, they had to change everything, and then every week was a guest star. It was like, oh, Medusa, there's a Cyclops, there's
the Flying Dutchman. There's aliens in the Land of the Lost now.
I know, and we had to move from our cave to the Lost City, not because of a great, brilliant script idea, but because Sigmund the Sea Monster had burned our sets down the year before at Goldwood. There was a fire at Goldwood. Started the first day of shooting of Sigmund the Sea Monster. We used the same caves. Boom! It burned up, destroyed the soundstage, burned cars.
Oh my gosh! Wow!
Oh wow!
That's wild.
Yeah. My favorite was, am I rambling on too much? I feel like I'm a chatterbox tonight. I'm like, oh,
no, you're great.
Oh,
you're
no,
great.
no,
Listen,
sorry, guys.
This show isn't about us.
Hi, Dave. I said hi.
Tonight is not about us. Tonight is all about you and Land of the Lost and whatever sort of rabbit hole we want to go down. The fire at Goldwood, which was the very first morning, everybody from Sigma the Sea Monster was getting ready at Goldwood Studios. They were on the makeup chairs, and Rip Taylor, Rip just passed away. He was great. He played the genie. The bring genies all over the place. So he was in full makeup. He was in green makeup. He had his green outfit on. He had the green flippers because he was a sea creature kind of thing, and the whole thing, right? The fire started, and it happened really quickly. And they had to leave. Wallets, keys, everybody ran out without getting anything. It was that fast. It just totally destroyed the soundstage. The walls blew out, and it burned all the cars in the parking lot.
Oh.
So Rip Taylor is in full green genie outfit, and he told me, he said, Wesley, total green genie. We're at Goldwyn Studio on Santa Monica Boulevard in Hollywood. Santa Monica Boulevard back in the 70s was quite the place for hookers. And so he said there, he had to walk to his condo, which was, he had to walk, it's like about 4 miles straight down Santa Monica into West Hollywood. And he says he's walking down, flapping his, because he doesn't have any clothes except the green stuff he's wearing and the green makeup. And he said, Wesley, I walked down Santa Monica Boulevard for 4 miles. I'm in Hollywood, and not one person took notice. It was like, well, just another day in Hollywood.
That's good. Wow. Yeah, I've never heard that story before. That's amazing. That is amazing. So now so going back to the songs, I didn't actually realize that you had sung the songs either. Was that something that because you sang the song a second time, is that how you got to sing in the episodes as well?
Oh, we're losing connection here, boys. I don't know what's going on.
You're good on our side.
Yeah. Am I okay? Okay, I'm back. I'm back.
Okay, we caught up. No problem. Technology is not always our friend.
Yeah.
So you got to sing the songs, the theme songs twice. Was getting to sing the second song, is that how you got to then sing in the actual episodes? Because you did a few episode songs.
The third season we had guest stars, and I got to strum my 4-string homemade guitar. It's amazing. It sounded like an orchestra. It was just magic. I was so talented. But what happened was they wanted me to sing. I was on the cover of Tiger Beat and 16 magazine when I was young and pretty and had hair. I mean, I still have all my hair. It's in a vacuum cleaner bag in the closet. But the Osmonds wrote the songs for us, and I would go to their house. Well, they had an apartment building right across the street in Santa Monica from the Mormon Temple, and it was odd because I would go in, and these were rich people. And I remember that the light switches didn't have light covers on them, the little plastic covers. I'm thinking, what the heck is this all about? These guys got money. But they were great guys. They wrote these little, ditties. They were 60 seconds or something. And I recorded it, and they had a little studio in there, and I recorded it, and then I would just lip sync on the set. But it was just another third season, I definitely wish David Gerald had still been with the show to continue the really good sci-fi, because suddenly Chaka was talking, full English. Wasn't talking Pakuni anymore. Kathy had grown. She was taller than me, and because it was, it was a different kind of time.
And you got a new set of clothes for that.
I had to have a new set of clothes, and the reason was like I said, we were on Chroma Key Blue. So when we started the show, if you see the first episodes, I have a blue shirt. Well, it chroma keyed out, and it looked like I didn't have a shirt on. So they dirtied it up, as you can see, so it wouldn't go away. And sometimes even my eyes were blue enough that they would chroma key. I looked like a little horrified.
Oh wow!
But so they had to actually switch jeans, and I think Kathy's initial khakis were kind of a bluish, and they turned them into to that reddish color and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So, but it's just new technology. It was Saturday morning. We shot one episode every 2.5 days, which is unheard of. So 2 episodes a week. It was crazy. It was just
especially with all the puppet work and all the screen stuff you had to do. It's crazy.
I know. And before we went on, see, when I got on, folks, by the way, I thought we were on bonus stories. I told all my best stories, and they go, "Oh, and now we'll go on the air now." I go, "What are you talking about? I've been telling you all my best stories." Don't trust these boys.
We have to keep something for ourselves, Wesley.
Don't trust these boys.
But the Sleestack outfit, when the Sleestack were the giant lizard creatures, they were created by Mike Westmore, who created, famous for all the Star Trek creations that he did, which from the beginning. And he created those Sleestack. You can see the green outfits, and they were played by UCLA basketball players, and so they were 7 feet in their stockings. And the heads pointed up another foot, and they had giant stilts and claws on. So they were about 9 to 10 feet in actual height when we were together. And they were made from wetsuits. And Mike stuck all glued all in his garage. There were only 3 outfits, by the way. And he glued all the scales on. and it was wetsuits from like you swimming, so they couldn't breathe. The guys, I mean, there was no air coming in, so the guys could stay there maybe 2 minutes, and then they would unzip these things, and they would like be profusely like sweating like crazy.
I can only imagine. I mean, it's one of those costumes where they have those huge eyeballs, but normally when you see like sci-fi guys, they're smaller eyes, and people, I can't imagine people can ever see out of them. But with the sleeve stack, at least I gotta imagine they could, not walk into the tree.
Red. So they were red, so they were really tinted and stuff. So I mean, they just they came in, I think on the second or third episode, they introduced the sleeve stack, and Marty Krofft said the ratings went through the roof. Land of the Lost became NBC's #1 show, and we're not talking just Saturday morning. It became the #1 show, this little Saturday morning show that could, and it was quite ahead of its time. And it's amazing how many people come up to us at conventions and they talk about how their career started by watching Land of the Lost as kids. Kathy and I were doing a show in Hollywood, and this guy comes up and he says, "Hey, listen, I thought you guys spoke Farsi." You go, "What?" He said, "Yeah, my brother and I used to watch you in Iraq," which obviously changed names over the wars.
Yeah.
He said, "We used to watch you in Land of the Lost." He said, "My brother and I became scientists because of Land of the Lost, and we're now 2 of the heads of JPL, Jet Propulsion Lab in Pasadena." And he said, "We'd like to invite you and Kathy. Would you come on and we'll give you a tour of JPL?" And we go, "Are you crazy? Of course we want to come." And we got a private tour of the entire JPL through doors that most people aren't allowed. And we were allowed, this is the biggest thing. We go into this room, and it's this huge room with computer banks. And there's one guy, just one guy, way over in this giant room with all these computers. And he's doing something with the computer. And it's the guy that's programming and driving the rovers on Mars.
Wow.
And this guy, I wish I could remember his name. And he had he showed us his driver's license. He had a driver's license as the first driver's license for Mars.
Beautiful.
And he had driven all the rovers, all the ones that JPL up until that time had landed. And he said, "You want to play with the joystick?" I go, "Yes." He let us play with the joystick that controlled the rover on Mars. Now, it didn't move the rover on Mars, because the way it works is that they would program moving the joystick or what they wanted the rover to do the next day. It took, then once they did that, they could play it back and forth on the computer, make sure it's what they wanted to do. And then it took, I think, 6 hours to broadcast it to Mars. Wow. So we weren't actually making like going,
doing donuts on Mars.
Now that would have been a dream come true for a kid. But we had the best. And when we told people, "Yeah, we just went to that room," they go, "What? We've never been allowed in that room." And it was because of Land of the Lost. And he was a fan, the guy that drove the rover. I mean, it was truly amazing how many people at JPL said, "Hey, Land of the Lost. That's why I got interested in science." So it's been quite a lovely ride.
That's cool. So it was 3 seasons long, and then it was gone. At what point did you kind of realize that it was still hanging on with people? When did you start? At what point, like, were you start doing conventions for this or any of that kind of stuff, or is this kind of a recent understanding of the phenomenon?
Yeah, because I didn't do conventions for the longest time. I thought, I'm not going to do conventions. Kathy was doing some, and I did one. Paul Peterson asked me to do one, and I was like, I felt uncomfortable. I just felt asking people, like, I mean, sitting there, "Hi, you want my autograph?" I just felt really uncomfortable. I was like, "Oh." But then later, a few years ago, Kathy, we got invited to a reunion up in Pittsburgh, and with some of the other Krofft stars, like Butch Patrick and stuff like that. So Johnny Whitaker. So I went, and we had such a great time, and it became, it is such a wonderful. I fell in love with it. The socialization, the friendships we have with the cast, the fans. I mean, we actually. But I made a choice. Kathy and I decided this. We said, "Look, we're not just going to sit there and sign autographs. That just seems like it just didn't seem like that was, I don't know, didn't set well with us. So now we blow up a giant yellow raft. Oh. like the opening of the land, 1,000 feet below. We have this giant yellow raft. We have yellow life jackets. We have yellow oars. The fans, you get into the raft with us. Everybody puts on yellow raft. We hold up the oars, and I go, everybody over the waterfall. And everybody goes, ah, like that, and we take a photo. And sometimes we actually bring a guy that dresses like a sling stack, and we put him in the back as chasing us.
Oh, man.
And but because we thought, let's do something that we're all here. Let's have fun and let's make it something memorable, rather than just a photo that goes, "Hey, I met him."
Oh, you mean like this?
Oh yeah. We ripped you off. We didn't give you the raft glass. And sucker.
When I met you guys there, you didn't have the raft yet, so I'm thinking
it was
early.
It evolved, because I was just starting to do those things, and we kept going. We got to do something different.
Yeah.
And when we can't bring the raft, there's a couple of times like Star Trek, we don't have the room. One time we tried to bring a smaller raft. Then they got mad at us because we were creating too much havoc. They really did. They scolded us the next year. Goes, you can't make that much noise and have that much fun. There's complaints. I'm so sorry. And so we brought this giant dinosaur with us and do photos with dinosaurs and put the rafts, do all that kind of stuff. But we just think we have more fun and we just think it's, things are changing, I think, with autograph shows that, for me, it's becoming more experiential.
Sure.
Rather than just, a photograph and so anyway, that's been our mission. That's why we have so much fun. But I'm telling you, lugging that raft around the country, oh my gosh. And we have fans. The last show we did, one fan, Howard White, built a full pylon, one of the golden pylons, full size, and brought it up. And this other friend's Chris and his wife, they built a full-size matrix table with the crystals that lit up. And it's really, it's just, it's unbelievable. So it's amazing how this little show that continues, and it's, it's still playing on the air. It's on one of the stations right now. It's always playing someplace. But so the question you asked about 3 hours ago, is, it took a long time. I was on Days of Our Lives. I, went on to host game shows for Nickelodeon and created Dragon Tales for PBS, one of the creators of three of us. And it just started percolating. I think really for me, it didn't really happen until in 2000s, like around 2005 or something like that. And I realized Rhino wanted us to do the DVDs and do the background stuff. And we had so much fun doing that. I think it was actually up for an Emmy. And it just sort of bubbled from there, and it just continues to grow, the fan base, and just continues to grow. It's odd. It really is. When you think, who would have thought a Saturday morning show 46 or so ago, for 1970, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, well, that's what we've been talking. I said at the beginning, this is one of the most iconic TV shows in history. Period. In my eyes, and a lot of it is because of what you said. It didn't talk down to kids. It didn't dumb anything down. It was just, hey, let's go. We're going to introduce all this crazy stuff. Oh yeah, there's dinosaurs too, and you just have this ridiculously cool world that has stuck with people. And as those people got older and had kids, they could pass it down to the kids. And of course, there was the movie that came out that I'm sure, while the movie didn't succeed quite as what they were expecting, I'm sure that it did send people back to the TV show. Like, okay, we saw the movie. What was this show about? And then, of course, he had the DVD sets and all that kind of stuff. I'm sure that happened. And then that probably started to kick a little bit of a resurgence up into all of this.
Yeah. Well, the movie really bombed. Won the Razzie that year. And Sid and Marty Krofft, I was a surprise guest to them. I surprised them at Comic-Con in San Diego. And and Marty Krofft goes, all right, we blew it. The movie lost $200 million.
Oh my God!
$100 million in production, $100 million in advertising, and because they were doing Subway sandwiches and all that kind of stuff. But Will Ferrell was a huge fan of Land of the Lost, and I went on set at Universal and I met him for the first time. He comes running over. He goes, Wesley, I just sang the theme song, which is actually one of my favorite, funniest scenes in the movie. And at one point he actually played a character in another movie called Marshall Willenholly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
That was in
He's
Jay
been a
Silent
fan
Bob.
of Land of the Lost for a long time, and he could not have been. Danny McBride was great, and Anna Friel were terrific, and it was. It's unfortunate, and they decided to go for like an Abbott and Costello movie rather than about a family in a really dire situation with good sci-fi. So it was kind of apples and oranges.
Yeah. I agree. It's unfortunate. It had its moments, but it certainly was not. It wasn't you guys.
And they keep saying they're going to redo it. And Sid Marty said they've got another script coming out. David Gerrold said he's written a new novel that takes place 40 years later. That I think he mentioned it at Star Trek. He said that it was the story of that we had a baby brother that was too young to go on the raft with us. And 40 years later, he's coming looking for us, and he has 2 daughters. And they come into the land of the lost. He says, I've gone crazy. I'm living in a cave. Kathy's evolved into the spirit of land of the lost, and Chaka's now head of the Pakuni, the warrior tribe, and that's how it starts. So I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, so he's specifically writing this for you guys.
The
future of you guys.
Wow.
David has, it's just amazing the friendships that have come out of a show like that. David and I have remained friends since that show. He's been a hero of mine. Adopting a child and all sorts of wonderful things that he does besides being so creative and he's a professor and teaches and writes. He's amazing. And I've been very fortunate to touch his coattails and DC Fontana's and all these wonderful people that put words in my mouth, which I'm grateful for.
Sure. I've been kind of commandeering this. Jim, do you have any questions?
So out of all the special guests that were on the show, who was your favorite special guest?
Oh my God! He played the giant.
Richard Kiel.
2 episodes. The biggest hands you've ever seen in your life. Oh,
That's right.
Richard Kiel, right? The really from Jaws, for the 007 movies.
He played. I think his name was Malik.
Malik, absolutely. Yeah. So we would run into Richard at the Star Trek convention because he was in Star Trek also, awesome. And he and his wife was I think 5'2". Richard Kiel. I said, "How the hell did you guys meet?" He goes, "Well, I was drinking at a bar at college, and she walked in. Yeah, all the gin joints, and they fell in love, and they were the most amazing couple. He passed away a few years ago, but I'm telling you, the gentlest, wonderful soul of a man, and I think he was one of my favorites. So we were lucky. We had some wonderful performers."
Yeah, season 3 brought a lot of people to the land of the lost. It was interesting in what they decided to do. The Flying Dutchman came through, which was a really creepy story. Holy cow, that was a creepy story. We had the Abominable Snowman made a couple of appearances throughout the season, which was some wild stuff. Season 3 brought new dinosaurs. There's Lulu. Did you guys know that you have images on Getty Images?
Yeah, I do. I know. If I want one of a photo of me, I have to buy it. You know how weird it is? I got to tell you. I see things on the internet. And one of the reasons Spencer left Land of the Lost, I played our dad, was a dispute over the rights of images and merchandising and things, which, to this day, I will see items from the 70s with our picture on it. But the other day, I saw for sale photos of me that were taken at I opened for Bill Cosby at Harris. I had a big nightclub act, and I had a photo shoot with the famous photographer. And I guess I had to pay for 2 of the photos. These are for billboards in Vegas and at the airports. But I guess he retained the rights. So there are all these photos that somebody's selling of me, and there was one of them I wanted. I bought it. I had to pay $35 for the negative. It was,
wow.
It's just a weird world. But it's fun. We see T-shirts and today, and I love it. Listen, I'm honored that people remember. I'm just really. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, who would have thought? First of all, we'd be still having so much fun with it.
Yeah, for sure. When they did the initial reboot, there was. Were you guys ever talked? I mean, I know there was talk that the girl was going to be Holly in some capacity, but were you guys ever even approached to be a part of it?
Not a peep. I found out about it. I was so like, what? What do you mean? You know, it's like, no. And Kathy was supposed to be in it, and then they moved in a different direction. Of course, it did not last. Did not. I mean, again, it was not Land of the Lost. There was a Jeep in it. There was a hot girl in it. There was,
camcorders
and So I mean, and listen, the Crofts are amazing. Sid Croft is. I talk to Sid now a lot. He calls me, and I love him. He's so creative. He started. He was a puppeteer. He was a young little boy. He played puppets in Barnum and Bailey's circus. He was in the Freak Show used to sell. Sid used to. He told me it once. He's literally in the Freak Show, which is the lowest class of Barnum and Bailey, right? So it's where it's with the geeks and heads off chickens and the freak shows and it's the trapeze artist and the lion tamer #1 and Sid was part of that rough world. The fat lady of the circus who was a friend of his but he used to sell this puppet. He said, for 25 cents. Of course, this was probably in the 30s or I guess or something like that. And because Sid's 92, I think. And he sold it for 25 cents, and he said, "Don't open it till you get home because it didn't work." Welcome to Barnum and Bailey. But I love Sid. Sid told me once that he was playing at the Fisher Theater. Sid became very famous. Marty was his assistant. Marty was not the creative guy. Marty was the business guy and helped do the puppets. And they were playing the Fisher Theater in Detroit, and they had become very successful at the World's Fair with the. Something that they potpourri that they were stripper puppets. And it was really a big hit. And he gets this call, and they said, Sid, there's a call for you. And he goes to the phone at the Fisher. She goes, "Hey, Sidas," that was his Greek name. "Sidas, it's Baby." He goes, "Baby. Oh my God, Baby." Baby was the fat lady at the circus in Barnum and Bailey. She said, "Sidas, yes, I see in the newspaper. You're so famous." He said, "Oh my God, Baby, come. I'll send a limousine. You've got to come to the show." So Sidas, I can't. Go, "Why can't you come?" She said, "I cannot leave my house." She'd gotten so big. And these stories, Sid will call me, and I don't say we have a conversation. I have a listen for about an hour. And you would think he's dropping more names than you can imagine. I mean, Cher and Michael Jackson at his house and all these things. And I wouldn't miss a moment of it. It is the most fascinating, I just sit back and go, what an honor to listen to this guy's stories, which are just incredible.
Well, and the Crofts are not just Land of the Lost. I mean, it's Sigmund and the Sea Monster, it's H.R. Pupp and stuff. It's the Croft Power Hour. I mean, these guys were staples of Saturday morning. When I was a kid, Saturday morning, it's like, what are we going to see on the Craft Power Hour, man? I mean, we got to get in on this. Always hoping for Land of the Lost. Always hoping for.
Well, they did the Donnie and Marie show. They did the Brady Bunch Hour. They did, they expanded. They did the puppets that were all politicians and things like that. I don't even remember the name of that show.
Oh my gosh. I can't think of what it's called. I had no idea that was them. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I can't. It's not.
All I can see is Ronald Reagan as a puppet. That's in my head. That's the one that.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Wow. I had no idea that was them. That's fantastic. That's amazing. Yeah. I can't imagine the stories that would come out of these guys, and the fact that they're still at it is fantastic. And
Sid says he's working. I can't say what it is.
No, sure.
But he's working on a big project with a very famous performer right now. He traveled as he was the opening act for some of the most famous for Judy Garland. I mean, he opened for Judy. I mean, your audience is probably listening, going, "Huh?" And
Dorothy. That's Dorothy, guys. Dorothy.
You remember Elvis? It was before Elvis. Anyway, so fame is so fleeting now. It's faster and faster you become obsolete because of the internet and stuff like that. And no longer are we watching 3 channels, so there's the whole family's watching the same shows. So I'll watch these celebrity shows and I go, who? I have no. There'll be 5 guests and I'll go, who? You know, we just don't know. I mean, anyway, things change. That's just.
Yeah. So this is actually a friend of mine, Steven Smurl. He says it's DC Follies was the TV show. Yeah. So that's great. Steven and I actually met through Land of the Lost. This is a really weird story. He and I were both comic book creators, and we had met on a chat board somewhere about comic books. And somehow we landed on Land of the Lost as a discussion. And that is how we became friends. He had the DVD set and I didn't. And he was like, well, I'll come over to your house and I'll bring you the DVDs. And I was like, well, yeah. And so basically it was like a Will Ferrell moment. Are we just best friends right now? Yes, that just happened right now. And so he and I have been at it with comics ever since. And that's been, oh my gosh, 10, 11 years ago. So good to see Steven in here. And actually, we actually pitched a comic book to Croft for Land of the Lost. Unfortunately, obviously we didn't get it, or we have a different story. But we actually came into the process behind a different publisher who had been talking to them for a while. And so it went there just because they had the foot in the door. But this is stuff that really no one has seen before. So I'm going to show you guys the pitch pages that we did for it really quick.
Yeah, please.
Basically what we did is we took the original opening, the 1,000 feet below, and turned it into a sequential comic book pages. And that's what we sent off to Croft, and they really liked it, but they were already in the process with another publisher. And so it went that way.
Well, it didn't happen, so call them again. You never know. Right? They're probably hungry for something.
So this is done by JC Grande. Hopefully, guys, you can see this stuff. We really tried to do the dialogue very, very much. Now, again, with the licensing issue, we knew about the licensing issue. So we made it look like you guys, but not like you guys, in that kind of regard. The dialogue we tried to make, obviously it's very small, and I apologize, guys.
No, I'm making it bigger here. So
cool. And I'm happy to send these to you too, so you can see them a little closer. We tried to make it very much like the show. Hey, Holly, hey, Will, run, all that kind of stuff. We wanted to make it really nostalgic, but with a just a taste of modern comics. As we went through, there's the earthquake, all the boulders falling down, and then of course off we go. And we wake up, and there's Grumpy giving us the roar.
Oh, my God, this is terrific.
So this was really fun. This was really fun to do. It's an amazing sort of piece, a moment in time for me for Land of the Lost. I'm just like, oh, man, what if we had gotten that?
No, you know what? Tom, I'm telling you the truth. Contact him again. It's there. Just obviously it didn't work out with whoever the other person was.
Sure.
You know what? Why not? Because you never know that where their head's at, at that moment. And time is fleeting.
Sure.
Yeah. To quote Rocky Horror Show, but oh my God! And first of all, thank you for making me look so good. I really appreciate it. I like sort of the red. I liked it. I mean, I like Holly's hair. Going over the line. It's very cool to see things like this. It's amazing how much Land of the Lost has become part of the lexicon in pop culture.
Absolutely.
And like there was Bubble Boy for Disney, Jake Gyllenhaal. His favorite show was Land of the Lost, and at the opening scene, he's singing the closing theme song, which I sang also. When I look all around, I can't believe the things I found. Now I need to find my way. I'm lost. Find me living in the land of the lost, living in the land of the lost. So he's rocking it out. And then and during the movie, and it's fabulous. It's a comedy. It's wonderful. And he actually dresses like me, even wears my gold chain, and he's on a dinosaur and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, but then we have Tenacious D, the Jack Black. If you go on Google, they do a cover of the opening and closing of Land of the Lost theme song. It's fabulous. But there are so many shows where they reference Leestack and Pakuni and Land of the Lost, and it's kind of fun. I watched the news the other day, and some news broadcaster was saying, "Oh yeah, it's like Land of the Lost." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Whoa," So
nothing is like Land of the Lost, sir. Nothing.
No.
Is there an episode in all of this that stands out to you as that was the one that either personally for you because it was a cool Will story, or just in general in the larger context of, the Sleestack or Enoch or whatever? Is there anything that really pops out to you like, that's the one that I would watch right now?
Yeah, there is. It's called The Circle.
Okay.
And it's the closing, I think, of the first season. And because everybody goes, well, did you ever make it home? And I go, yes. But. And so in The Circle, the time doorway opens, the mist doorway, and as the thing keeps repeating itself, Daddy did all this kind of stuff is going on. And Enoch, I go into the cave with Enoch, and I said, and Enoch says, I said, Enoch, we can go home? He goes, no, you must go home. 3 must leave, so 3 may enter. And you go, what? He said, the land of the lost was in a cycle, in a paradigm, and we had to exit. Otherwise, the land of the lost was going to destroy itself. So the 3 of us, our dad, Holly, and I, we walk through the mist doorway, and we go home, and at that immediate moment, our doppelgangers come into the land of the lost and begin all over again. So the end of that episode is the family coming in, going, it's like the beginning, finding the empty cave and running from a dinosaur, and that it all just reversed. And again, that's the sci-fi. That's that's why it holds up to this day, because the sci-fi is good.
Yeah, you're dealing with time and parallel dimension paradoxes and all kinds of stuff. And as I recall, didn't they then run the season 1 again immediately after that?
I think so.
To kind of cement that, like, hey, you got to do it all again, and then after you did that, then of course season 2 showed up, and you guys kept going.
It was, it's had a really amazing journey. I remember we shot the first episode with Chaka when we met Chaka. He breaks his leg, and they watched the first takes of it and stuff. They go, no, you're not scared enough, because I was on a soap opera. We were playing it for real. So they made us go back and refilm everything. So if you watch the first, and so it's like, instead of, oh my God, Dad, there's a dinosaur, it's like, oh my God, Dad, there's a dinosaur. It's like, really, guys? Yeah, that's what they wanted. And fortunately, they only lasted that one time. The executives all came in, I should be more scared. No, let's make it real. And I think one of the reasons it held up, first of all, Kathy's acting. Oh my God, Kathy's a little girl, a 12-year-old girl. There's some scenes where it just breaks your heart. I mean, we're talking, mother's passed away, and this was Saturday morning, and it wasn't just us going, eat cereal, and we had a real bond. It felt like a family, and the proof is in the fact that we all still are a family. So
sure, yeah, and nowadays a lot of and into the 80s and stuff, a lot of stuff was built and designed to sell toys, like they were large commercials for toys. You guys, there was some merch, but it wasn't like there was Grumpy toys on the market or any of that kind of stuff. So you guys were legitimately making something for TV for that purpose versus how do we sell another dinosaur? And I think you guys benefited from that.
Well, kids TV has always been part of my life. And I've written kids' books. I wrote a book that Disney bought for an animated feature, and I wrote the screenplay and the songs for Disney, a book called The Red Wings of Christmas. And then Dragon Tales, which I was one of the creators of for PBS, which ran for 9 years. Storytelling for kids, for me, has always been a passion. And what happened, I think, with most of the kids' programming back in after Land of the Lost days, when it came into the 80s, every show became about a wisecracking kid who's putting down their parents. So they changed the power structure, where the kids were the most powerful and the funniest, and they could tell their parents to go to hell. And in Land of the Lost, we're still respecting our dad. We're still afraid of our dad. We're still part of a family. And we tried, and the stuff that I tried to continue to do was always my philosophy is it's not about being wise guys. It's about trying to find something real. And because I think we all, as a species, I think we all innately go to it. I love the wisecracking kids on TV and all those kind of those sitcoms and things like that. I do, but for longevity, at least for me, for my heart, I like something with a little bit more pith in it.
Yeah, well, and a lot of those, particularly the early episodes, were moral stories too. You were learning stuff as you also learned stuff about, paradoxes and time travel and the crazy closed universe where you're looking through the oh my gosh, the periscope, and you're seeing the back of your own head because it's such the closed, like craziness, just craziness. And that's, I don't even know if we understood what we were seeing back then, but it, like you said, those guys that went on then and became scientists and so on, clearly it was a trigger enough for them to go, this is cool. Let's dive into what this is.
We one of the greatest joys that we have at the conventions is people will come up to us, and this happens a lot, is because we were a Saturday morning show, and because back in the day, I mean, Saturday morning, of course, was a kid's time. There was no repeats, and everybody, the kids ate their bowl of cereal and sat in front of the TV for 3 or 4 hours, and it was their time, and the parents slept in. It affected people in a different way. There was a different connection to us, to that, especially because we were a real show. We weren't a comedy show. We weren't Sigmund the Sea Monster. So we'll have people come up. I had one young man. He's in his 50s. He said, "Listen, I got to tell you something." He was crying, and I said, "What's going on?" He said, "My mom and dad were getting a divorce, and it was the end of the second season into the third season." He said, "I didn't think I could survive it." He said, "I was distraught. And then I saw that your dad left and your uncle came in and you survived." And he says, "I know it sounds weird, but it gave me the strength to know that things could be okay with this kind of change." We had one lady come up to us, and she was like really emotional. And she said, "Listen, I used to live in Compton." And she said it was a really rough, back in the 70s, Compton, Los Angeles was a really rough town. And she said, "My mom wouldn't let us go play on the weekends because it was too dangerous on the streets. So we'd watch Land of the Lost on Saturday morning, and we would play Land of the Lost in the house with the blankets and under the tables all weekend." And she said, "You were my childhood. You were my childhood." And we have people besides, the guys from JPL, but we have archaeologists and scientists and people that come up and just say, "Hey, look, it made us interested. It spurred our interest in science or archaeology or whatever, dinosaurs." And it's quite an honor. I mean, it's just amazing how many people do come up and share their stories, because it was a vulnerable time for our kids. It was a different time. That's all it was.
Sure.
Yep.
Absolutely. I mean, I know a bunch of people, like we just talked about Steven, who's in the audience here, and myself. I mean, Land of the Lost was certainly something that triggered us as far as, he's a writer as well. So clearly that sparked storytelling in us, and it just kept going with us, because the fact that we both were like, "Dude, Land of the Lost?" Yes, Land of the Lost. And we just were like in immediately. I think that's a great legacy to be able to put together from a science standpoint, from a creativity standpoint. The fact that this thing came out, lasted only 3 years, and here now we are 40 odd years later, and it's still being talked about. You've got a Sleestack mask, not a mask, but what is that, a bronze? Do you have a bronze?
A fan made. I have more beautiful things from fans. Isn't that fabulous, guys?
That's fantastic.
Wow.
That's really cool.
And this is 3D molding, so it's lightweight.
Wow.
But it's amazing. And can I just share something that happened this week?
Of course.
Yeah.
It was really it's good, but it was tough. Oh my god, it's very emotional. A fan of mine said, "Could I mail you something?" And I go, "Oh, okay, yeah." He said, "I want to share something from my childhood with you." And I go, "Okay." And yesterday, I got in the mail. I just want to show you this. A whole bunch of these little, the metal dinosaurs, the ones from the History Museum and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Brian, this guy, and I say his name only because he gave me permission. I wrote it on my Facebook page. I called him first, said, "Look, can I tell the story?" He goes, "Yeah." He had collected these since he was a kid from Land of the Lost. He got interested in dinosaurs, and as a young adult, he continued to collect them. I have the whole series here. But he's facing some major challenges in his life. And he wanted to send these to me to be the caretaker for when he's gone. and because it meant so much to him. And anyway, so that kind of I'm telling you, that kind of connection has been extraordinary. It has enriched my life crazily. You know, we have a Facebook on these guys created this Land of Lost Facebook, which is has been remarkable with meeting new friends and sharing stuff. But I'm telling you that these stories happen a lot, and we, you know, when we go to these conventions, you know, we're not just sitting there trying to sell our hardware. We're, you know, we're also fans, and we're fans of the other people that are there, and we're like, you know, gaga over, you know, all these people, but the exchange that we have with the people is genuine and really external. Like Brian, who sent me these things, and I feel so honored. I have them in my living room on a display case right now to celebrate. So.
That's great, and the fact that you guys are out there and doing this is fantastic. Every time I see you guys at a show, well, not at a show, but like you're posting your pictures that you're at a show. Every picture is joy. Every picture from you guys to whoever's sitting in the boat, it's just like, oh my God, we're here. This is really happening. It's just pure excitement and joy, which is 100% the whole point of these events. So kudos to all three of you, Philip and Kathy, and whoever else ends up showing up with you guys.
We've had here one day. Can I just tell you, we go to these things, and now every celebrity wants their photo in the wrap. John Schneider got in the other day. Sam Jones, who played Flash Gordon. Don Wells, who just sadly passed away from Gilligan's Island. Oh my God! I'm telling you, the list goes. But they come over to us and say, "We wanted the wrap. We want a photo." And I mean, we have the most amazing celebrities that want to sit in our wrap and go, for their photo. It's such an honor.
That's great. That is fantastic. Listen, we've been doing this for an hour. We're going to let you go. God. If you want to, if you need to go, we're happy to let you sneak out early. I do want to ask you though, are anything happening right now? You got anything, rolling your way that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I got a movie coming out with William Shatner, Christopher Lloyd, and Gene Smart.
Whoa.
Oh, did I hear a sigh?
Wow.
It's coming out this month. It's called Senior Moment. Okay. I just have an itty bitty flash in the pan, but it's a romantic comedy with William Shatner and Christopher Lloyd's his best friend and Gene Smart's his love interest. It was filmed here in Palm Springs. I'm at a Mexican restaurant here in Palm Springs. I live in Palm Springs, obviously, and this guy comes over and goes, "You Wesley, aren't you?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I want you in my movie. I'm producing a movie with Shatner, and you're in it." I go, "Okay, are you crazy? I'm in it." So he says, "You got any other friends?" I go, "Yeah, I could get you some more people." Because it was in Palm Springs, so I called Kay Ballard, the famous Kay Ballard, and from the Mothers-in-Law. And I mean, this is, okay, remember Elvis? Before Elvis. And so I got Kay Ballard in it, and which became her last movie. And then I called Ruta Lee, who was in every 60s and 70s TV series you can imagine. Ruta has a great part in it. And mine, I think I cut pretty much, but I'm just kind of flashing across the screen. But I've got that movie coming out. I've got a show. I just sold a reality show, which we're starting production on, which I can't tell you all the details yet, but I'm executive producer of. And a bunch of other stuff. I mean, we just, silly, fun things. I just did a Hollywood Squares the other day. It was fun. Because I love game shows. I used to be a regular on Password and Match Game and things like that as a celebrity. So they're doing, for benefits for the Hollywood Museum, they're doing the old Hollywood Squares. So Mark Summers hosted the one I did. Mark, of course, did Double Dare, and I was doing Finders Keepers at the same time on Nickelodeon. So we had, all these amazing celebrities I haven't seen like in years. And Lonnie Anderson sat next to me, and it was fun. And they've had 5 hosts, I think, and it's going to be, I think, a fundraiser. I don't know when they're going to announce doing it, but I think you'll pay $2 or something to watch it, and it goes to the Hollywood Museum. Okay. But I think John Davidson did one of the shows he hosted. He has that long white hair now, and because he hosted one of the original Hollywood Squares. But all that sort of stuff is still, still. Just got another sci-fi movie. I've got a really lovely part in that, a really nice part in one of the best scripts I've ever read for sci-fi. So I'm excited about that.
Is it now the senior moment? Is this because we're still in the weird COVID-ish type of thing? Is this a theater movie or is this coming to Netflix or what's happening with
Both.
it? Both.
Listen, I said to the producer, I said this because they finished it over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's been hard to get it out. And I said, COVID has been a blessing for them because the theaters are empty and they're looking for product now because all the big blockbusters, won't release their movies yet. So it's coming out. I think they're in several markets. I mean, like in Arizona, and you can Google it. Senior Moment, William Shatner,
Okay.
and the trailer is hysterical. I'm telling you, it looks I cannot wait to see it. And then I think it's going to be released online, some pay-per-view of some sort. I don't know all the details. I just got the notice last week that it was actually sold and coming to theaters in March. So it's maybe this week. It's like now.
So there you go. We got to keep our eyes open for Senior Moment.
What the hell's going on with your hair, David?
It's that time of the show.
It's that time of the show. I should do this. And I get some fun with it. I don't
My
know.
God, you're a human slee stack.
That's it. I don't know what happens. It just takes on a mind of its own. It's 10 o'clock, and boom, it happens.
Well, I should let you boys go so you can talk about me and say nice things. Say nice things.
So quickly, Jeff is asking, do you have any conventions? Is that happening for you yet? The convention scene?
No, Kathy actually did one in New Jersey a couple of weeks ago. I'm not ready to. We've got our hotel reservations for the Star Trek convention in August.
Okay.
But we haven't pulled the trigger on that. Everybody. I got my vaccinations, and we're all just waiting to see because that's a situation where you want to be hugging and touching and high-fiving, and people are flying in from all over the world. So we've been invited to a couple of major conventions, but where everybody is kind of on standby to wait.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I kind of figured late this year at best for anybody to really get this happening. What do you got, Jim?
March 26th is when the movie comes out. It
Oh,
says
there you
release
go.
date March 26th.
Oh.
So this coming week.
There you go. Listen, I haven't seen it. It looks really good. And I think my lines were cut. I've been told my lines were cut. Welcome to show business. But I'm still there. Like, I think I'm waving, riding a turtle or something. It's something at a.
Oh, see, so you finally get to ride a dinosaur.
Yeah, there you go.
After 40 years later, you finally get to ride a dinosaur. Oh my God.
You guys have been so much fun. Thank you for having me on as a guest. I really appreciate it. And
Wesley,
Wes,
thank you so
it
much.
is
We
awesome to
appreciate
have you, man. If you ever want to come back when all of the things that you can't talk about are happening, we'd be happy to have you back and chit chat about that if you like. Obviously, of course, we know Kathy and Phil are watching. You guys are welcome to come to the show too. Anytime you guys want
to put in a good word.
we appreciate it. Wes, thank you so much for this. This was amazing. Have a great rest of the evening, and we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye. Oh, my God. Was that not
That
like
was wow.
unbelievable?
That was awesome.
Speechless again. Like that's why I'm quiet. Like I am just so speechless. The stories, I had so much I wanted to ask, but I couldn't. Like
I don't even know what to do right now.
You threw me
I
off
don't
because
either.
you were like, do you have any questions? And I was like, special
like,
guest.
he answered every question and then some, and they were amazing.
Oh my God.
Oh, he was so cool.
Yeah, he's great. I've only met him one time, and that was that picture that I showed. This was we'll give the background on how this whole thing happened to everybody here. So this was WonderCon about about 6 years ago ish, something like that. So I was at WonderCon with Aspen Comics, and I was just kind of wandering the floor, going to see somebody. Oh my God, I still have that shirt too. And I went down one way and I came back another way, which took me in a different route. And so I hung a left when I should have hung a right, and I went the wrong way. And I ended up square in front of the three of them on these, and I had no idea that we were there. And I lost my mind. I was like, oh my God, Phil and Wesley and Holly are all here. What the hell? And I went into instant stage fright, like oh my God, they're stars. I can't even talk to them. I don't want to get near them. And so I ran back to the Aspen booth. And I sat there and I was like, dude, do you guys know the Land of the Lost cast is here? And they were like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, I have to tell you who these people are. And so I had this, I was like, it's Holly and it's Will and it's Chaka and they're all here. And I just was sitting at the booth like, they're all here. And so finally I was like, nope, I have to go. And I went back and I went up, Phil and Wesley were busy with somebody. So I went up and talked to Holly. And she was fantastic. She was awesome. And I was just like, oh my God, this is one of the greatest days of my life. And then we got the picture with all three of them together at the end. So that was fantastic. As we were doing this movie show, so for those that are the new people here, welcome. Of course, we do this show every Sunday night. However, we are going to be shifting it this coming week to Saturdays. We're going to be starting to do them on Saturday nights. You guys are welcome to come back and join us each week as we do this now on Saturday nights. We decided we were going to do a dinosaur show and just talk generally about dinosaurs, Jurassic Park and Carnosaur and 1 million years BC, whatever. And I told Jim and Dave, I said, you know what? I talk to Wesley every now and then kind of through Facebook. Let me just reach out to him and see if he'd be willing to do it. And so I sent him a message and he sent me a message back. He said, tell me what you guys do. And I was like, it's just this ridiculous, goofy show where we just talk about whatever we want. We chase down the rabbit holes wherever we go. And he was like, well, that sounds awesome. And so I was like, well, sweet, let's line this up. And so that was just 2 weeks ago. And he was like, yeah, let's do this. And so that was Wesley Eure, guys. Or Wesley, I'm pronouncing it wrong. It's not Eure. I've always pronounced it Eure. It's Eure, Wesley Eure.
Oh,
so I have to fix that in my head. It's Wesley Eure. Yeah, go ahead.
He's our first guest under the new logo.
yes,
That's correct.
And actually, it fits because we used to be those movie guys. Now we're Scene 1, Take 3. So Scene 1, Take 3 can be TV or movies.
That's right.
It all fits.
And it only took us 3 episodes to get a guest this time.
Yeah, right.
It took us 6 before.
By the time we change the name again, it'll be the first episode.
I'm just gonna have to learn my celebrity face because I want questions I want to ask, but I am just in so much awe of the stories they tell, especially him, just the stories he was telling.
Yeah.
And just instead of me sitting here looking like a dork going.
When you were talking about the Rip Taylor and walking down the street, I was like, I immediately. I had to Google. I was like, I got to see how he looked walking down the street because I got to get that image in my mind.
Did you get it, or can we bring it back?
Yeah,
you got to see it.
Oh, Tom, can you find it?
Send it to me on. Oh no, what did you search? We can find it.
Oh, just it was a Rip Taylor genie.
Oh, okay.
You'll either get him as the green one or as the duck from DuckTales the movie.
Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently he was the duck in DuckTales the movie.
Okay.
Which makes a whole lot of sense.
I totally remember this.
Give me a second. I'll be right back. I gotta go in the bedroom because Christy's going to work, so I'll be right back.
Yep, you got it. I'm going to save this, guys, and I'm going to show you what we're talking about. As soon as I saw this, I remember this. Here we go.
I think that's hilarious. Walking down 4 miles, walking home.
Yeah, looking like this. Yeah, that's something. Let's see pictures. Oh my God, where did it go? There it is. Rip Taylor in his green suit. That's crazy.
I'm sure he was making that face too. Like, what do you mean I gotta walk home?
Yeah, right.
Oh man.
Yeah. So for all the folks that came over and are joining us that are new, welcome. Basically, the second half of the show here, with David's hair just completely out of control.
People, look at this. Haircut time.
We're basically going to give you the taste of what the show normally is, which is just kind of us shooting the breeze. Now, I don't know how much we have prepared for this because we weren't sure how long Wesley was going to hang out with us. But yeah, for sure. Right. As soon as you see it, you're like, yeah, I remember that thing. So we're just what we kind of do is we kind of shoot the breeze about stuff that we like, stuff that we don't like. Yeah, the best part is that no one thought anything of it. Yeah, that is pretty funny. Yeah, it's another green dude. That's fine. It's not a problem at all. Yeah, not just a problem at all.
Another day in life in the big city.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I'm trying to think back of like when I first saw Land of the Lost. when I must have been seeing it, and it had to have been like the late 70s, I'm assuming. And of course, the immediate draw for me was dinosaurs.
Right.
Big Alice and Grumpy and all the rest. That was the draw for me. Just like Wesley talked about the all the sci-fi stuff and all the story that we got without even really knowing it was kind of the bonus. It was the icing on the cake. Whenever you got to go to the Lost City, that was cool. Whenever you got to go see something you hadn't seen before, that was cool. And then of course there's Grumpy trying to eat the pylon. They actually had these puppets at San Diego Comic-Con about 10 or 15 years ago too. So I actually have pictures of the Grumpy puppet somewhere, the actual puppet. It was behind glass, obviously.
Yeah.
You couldn't like roar and, be playing with the damn thing. But yeah, that was, they had a bunch of dinosaurs in there, which was awesome. And I think that pretty much every kid, I think even my sister was into dinosaurs back in the day, as I recall. Now, that might have been just tangential because I was watching TV and she decided to watch the TV too. And if dinosaurs were on, then that's what was happening. Same with Godzilla, a big dinosaur. But back in the day, Godzilla movies were like an event. It was like King Kong versus Godzilla would come on one time a year, and you would plan your week to sit down and watch this movie, with the family and that's what it used to be. Nowadays, it's just like, let me get my Blu-ray out and we'll watch whatever the hell we want, whenever the hell we want to, which is good. But you also kind of lose that event feeling. It's like the Wizard of Oz used to be one time a year, and now it's just whenever you want to take it off the shelf.
I remember like back in the day for us, it was like every summer we'd go visit our aunt and uncle in Kansas City. Well, we lived in I'm not joking, like a 500 person town. So we had like 2 channels. That was it, 2 channels. So I always remember going to Kansas City, and Saturday mornings, we went on the weekend, they had Land of the Lost up there. So every time we went to Kansas City, it's like, oh, it's time to see Land of the Lost. We get to get up early Saturday morning. We get to watch Land of the Lost and stuff. And then finally, when Walnut Grove grew up and got more channels, we finally got Land of the Lost.
Got more channels. Yeah, in the old days, guys, we had like 5 channels. Maybe.
We had 2. No joke.
Yeah.
And then we finally got like 10. And so when we finally got Land of the Lost, it was like, holy crap, yes, I'm going to go buy cereal, I'm going to get milk, and we're going to get up and watch Land of the Lost every freaking Saturday morning. And we did.
Yeah, and then you had Land of the Lost, and then there was the Godzilla cartoon from Hanna-Barbera that were, usually they were very close. You had the Croft Power Hour, but you also had the Godzilla Power Hour. They had like Hong Kong Phooey, and what Jana of the Jungle and all that kind of stuff. So yes, yeah, exactly. When you had fewer options, everything gets a little more special. That's 100% true. It's 100% true. It's like, I have this Blu-ray collection, and I think to myself, hey, you know what? I'm tired. I need to kind of just wind down. I'm going to watch a movie, and then I look at it, and I'm like, I don't know what to pick. Like, there's too many things to pick here. This is like a McDonald's menu. I don't know what the hell to do. So yeah, it is definitely we definitely are spoiled on content now. For sure. I don't know how to necessarily fix that. I don't know that you can anymore. I think the barn doors are open. I mean, streaming is everywhere. There's 100 different streaming channels. They all want content. I mean, no matter how old it is.
Money.
That's right. That's right.
Is Land of the Lost even like streaming any place now?
Wesley said that it was, but I don't know where.
I tried searching. I didn't see it on any of the apps that I use. The movie.
Maybe he was talking about the movie. That's possible.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Which... that was actually my introduction to Land of the Lost, was actually the movie.
Yeah.
But my grandfather, however, was a fan of the show. So when the movie came out, he was like, we're going to go see this movie. So it was based on a TV show. And I was like, okay. And then literally my grandfather, I don't know why, but he loved Will Ferrell movies with a passion, like Step Brothers. and Land of the Lost were the two biggest movies that he would watch like almost every day. Because like after the movie came out in theater, it would just pop up like on the HBO or Showtime like every day, and like no matter what time it was on, like he'd be like, "Oh, Land of the Lost is on," and watching it. I like the movie. I know you guys probably don't like the movie. Probably as much as I do.
Here's the thing: if your introduction to Land of the Lost is the movie, then I get it, because you have no context. It's just the movie, so that makes complete sense. That makes absolute complete sense to me. But yeah, when you go the other way and you're like, hey, Land of the Lost is cool, and then you watch the movie and like what's his name?
Will Ferrell.
Danny McBride is like trying to make out with Chaka. I'm like, what's happening right now? Where did we go wrong on the script that this occurred? So
I'm gonna put one of my wives on this other pyramid and banish her. She'll be stuck on the top of the other pyramid.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know.
When they're at the the pylon, and she's like, Holly, you should sit on this.
Or that like that.
Yeah. The dinosaurs were great, Clutch. I mean, like I said, the movie has pluses and minuses to it. I mean, the sleep sack looked cool. Did you know that the guy who played Chaka is actually one of the guys from the Lonely Island group? Not Andy Samberg, but one of the other guys. He played Chaka in that movie. Really? Can't remember his name though. Yep. Yeah, Joanne. Jim is the resident millennial, and we struggle with it sometimes.
I was born in the 90s.
We struggle with it sometimes.
The early 90s, at least. I wasn't born in the late 90s. So.
Oh my gosh.
I was born the year Jurassic Park became the greatest movie of all time. Speaking of dinosaurs.
There you go.
So there's a transition.
The same month.
So Jurassic Park. Yay or nay?
What's up with this park that they just keep reopening?
Why do they keep reopen it? They never reopen. Every time they open the park, the dinosaurs eat people. Why do they keep opening it?
Why do they keep going back to the island?
They don't like people. That's what it is.
Dinosaurs do not like people. That's for sure. I think that is the one thing we do learn is that dinosaurs are just not interested in people.
Mm-mm.
No.
Nope.
Outside of Dopey, which Holly got to ride on, and I guess maybe the Flintstones. Although those dinosaurs were basically slave labor. Here's my garbage. Open up, Pelican. I'm gonna dump my garbage down your face.
It's a living. Oh yeah. Well, there was that TV show with the talking dinosaurs. Dinosaurs.
Yeah. The one that ended with the end of the world. If you guys saw that finale, did you guys see the finale of that show?
I'm sure I have, but that's one of the series I can never go back and rewatch because
it ended with the end of the world, with the meteor strike that ended the dinosaurs. How ridiculous is that? Oh my God!
Well, you know what's not getting rebooted.
No, it is.
No,
it is. It is.
It is not.
It is. Yes.
How are they going to do it? Like
100%, it's being rebooted. Times? I mean, like literally rebooted, not like continued on. Like,
okay, they're not going to do a. Okay. Hey, here's season 8.
No. It's supposedly going through a reboot. Yeah. So be prepared. I mean, everything is. I just heard Emilio Estevez is talking about Young Guns 3. I mean,
again with the Young Guns.
Ace Ventura 3. I mean, like everything is coming back. Everything is being put back into hey, how do we do this? And so why not Land of the Lost? I mean, why not figure out a way to actually do something that honors what the science fiction part of this thing is, whether it's a TV show, whether it's a movie, whatever. There's no reason not to do it. The failure of the movie is not a reason not to do it again, because the movie basically taught you, okay, that's not the right path. Let's go this way. And you should be able to course correct and find something that's going to make sense. Even if it is a reboot again, and it's not based like the David Gerald book that they're talking about, even if it's not based on the original characters, you can still take the concept is conceptual, right? It's people go into a Land of the Lost and things happen. So it's conceptual, but you have to be able to maintain tone and texture of what people know, you know, to be able to hold on to the nostalgia. Otherwise, the people that are us that are like watching the show, we're going to go into that movie and be like, what, are you doing this again? Like, come on, you know, you learned your lesson. Hopefully, let's bring this back around. Hell, I mean, you've got all that CGI dinosaur stuff already built. Just take it back and put it into a new movie. You know, you can have the same dinosaurs in some cases. Although I guess they killed Big Alice, which that kind of sucked.
Yeah.
That was kind of a downer. But yeah, no, Land of Lost can definitely be done. And I'm gonna have to talk to Will about that whole comic book thing and
Yes.
See if we can get our foot in the door and maybe create. I mean, obviously he said that Croft was still doing things, but maybe there's a thought process of crowdfunding for Croft. Like they could legitimately crowdfund their own things, whether it's comics, whether it's movies, whether it's TV. I would be more than happy to step up and help them figure that part out too.
Worst case scenario, you could just pitch it the totally rad way.
No.
Totally rad.
No.
We're not going to have
totally rad Land of the Lost.
No.
Tammy the dinosaur. Was it Tammy the T-Rex? We're not having a Tammy the T-Rex moment.
It will show you the making of the Land of the Lost.
No.
Okay. See, this is always a weird conversation because Jim is a child. What is the first? I mean, that can't be the first dinosaur movie you saw, Jim. What's the first dinosaur movie you remember seeing?
Jurassic Park.
Seriously?
I didn't see it in the theater. I saw it on VHS.
Yeah. Well, regardless of where you saw it, Jurassic Park was the first one. Interesting.
Jurassic Park, because it's a kid movie. Technically, it's PG. So my parents.
Oh, sure. No, I have no issue with Jurassic Park. Interesting that because, like, for me, I'm thinking the first one I saw was like 1 million years BC.
Yeah, I never.
Exactly,
I didn't see that. Like, I was in like my 20s.
1 million years BC was like. That was the Awakening movie, I think, because you're like, oh my God, it's a dinosaur movie. Why is that girl in a fur bikini? Tell me about her right now. Oh wait, dinosaur, but wait, there's a girl in a bikini. I don't understand what I'm seeing.
Caveman with Ringo Starr. It was Jurassic Park.
Oh my God, I forgot about
with Ringo Starr. I saw Caveman. I saw a lot as a kid. That's the other dinosaur movie that I would see. And like there was a cartoon movie I think called like Land Before Time.
Land Before Time, like there's like 15 of those things. Yeah.
Apparently. Yeah. I only saw the first one, so I never saw any of the other 12. But the Caveman of Ringo Starr. Like my grandfather was probably the only person that owned that on VHS.
Yes, I've never seen it. A friend of mine is like, you got to watch Caveman, and I'm like, I don't know if I don't know if I can handle this.
It's funny because like in the whole movie, it's all made up language, you know, but you can figure out what they're getting at, right? And like Ringo Starr's like trying to have sex with like the lead caveman's wife or whatever. But it's funny. It's a group of misfit cavemen who get banished from all their tribes and they form their own tribe, but one of the misfits is he's an Asian actor, and he's the only one in the movie that everyone like that watchers can understand because he speaks English.
Yep,
speaks modern English, but everyone else speaks,
That's like I remember that's basically 1 million years BC is that they kind of talk in this that stuff. And I remember I was at a friend's house once and it came on TV and I freaked out. Like I ignored him. I ignored everything else. I was like, we're watching this fucking movie, guys. And I'm like, I don't know, 10, maybe something like that. And his mom heard all the grunting, like all the and she came in, what are you guys watching out here? And I was like, oh, it's 1 million years BC. It's the dinosaurs. And she's like, those sounds are disgusting. You can't watch this. And she turned it off. I was like, what? I was like, no, this is not happening. This is the end of my world right now. Turn this damn TV back on. Yeah. And so what was crazy though is that because he had not seen the movie, I had seen it at some point. He had not seen it, but he was like, "So we can't watch that." But let me show you this. So we went back in his bedroom, and he pulls out this box of comics, and I had a little bit of comic stuff happening, but not like a lot. And so he pulls out Devil Dinosaur comics. And then my head exploded. I was like, "Oh, this is crazy! This is fantastic! What are these comics, man?" And so Devil Dinosaur became like a thing that I had to start chasing down while I was chasing down all of my Godzilla comics and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, all the Harryhausen stuff.
Yes.
And of course the original King Kong, Willis O'Brien and the original King Kong, all that stop motion dinosaur stuff. I thought I lost my mind the other night because I watched the original, and there was always the story from the original King Kong that there was at one of the original premieres. There's a scene in King Kong where they fall down the crevice, right? They get tossed off the tree. They fall down to the ground, right? So in the 33 Kong, in the original screenings, there's a scene where there are survivors and big ass spiders crawl out of the walls and start eating the dudes that are down at the bottom of the crevice. This is the rumor, the legend. That footage apparently shocked so many people that they pulled it from the screenings, right? That footage has never been seen again. Like, it is truly the lost grail footage of like, cool. This stuff, right? There are stills of it, and that's why people believe this legend, because there are actual stills of the spiders. Like, there it is, it's right there, there's the picture, where's the footage? So I was like, so when I went online after I watched King Kong, and I was like, yeah, I want to read about this spider footage a little bit more. And so I put in lost spider footage, King Kong. And on the video section of the search, it says right there, lost spider scene from King Kong. And I was like, what the hell? Somebody found this and I don't know what it is. So immediately I'm clicking on it and I'm watching it. And it's this old black and white footage, and it's the right music. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody found the footage. And I'm sitting there watching it. And then something looks weird. Something's not matching up properly. And I'm like, something's not right. I don't understand.
Oh,
and it kept going and it kept going. I was like, wait a minute, I have to scroll down. So I scroll down to the description of what this is. Turns out Peter Jackson, who remade King Kong, in 2005.
Yeah.
Turns out that he also made his own spider footage and basically made a short film of the missing footage himself in black and white, stop motion, all this kind of stuff. So I was watching Peter Jackson's lost spider footage because no, it has never been found. It is still non-existent.
Damn.
Yeah. So there's that Kong thing. And then I went and found another thing. There's actually more missing footage. A lot of it's minor, but there is actually more missing footage from Kong that has never been found. Here's a frightening thing. We are 10 years away. 10 years away, 2032, right? We're 10 years away. Well, like 12 years away from the 100th anniversary of King Kong. 100 years old. King Kong is about to be 100 years old, guys. That's terrifying.
Jeez.
That's terrifying to me.
And that's why he's going to win when he fights Godzilla.
Yep.
Because he's been around for 100 years.
He's been around for 100 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man. 100 years.
100 years. 100 years of King Kong. I mean, we're almost at 50. We're almost at 50 years of Jaws. I mean,
you're almost at 100 years. You're about, 15, 16 years away from 100 years of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah. 1939. 4? No, 39. Yeah, is it 39?
39.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, 100 years of Wizard of Oz. Yeah. You want to know a weird fact? This is a weird fact, right? So, The Wizard of Oz, the book, came out in 1900, right? So the book is already over 100 years old. The state of Arizona was founded in 1912. So the book Wizard of Oz is older than the state of Arizona.
Wow.
And I only know that because they had signs in Arizona in 2012, like their 100th anniversary. Yeah. And I was like, wait a minute. How is Wizard of Oz older than Arizona? That's ridiculous. So yeah, weird. History is so weird, dude. History is so weird. When you line up things that you're like, hey, this should not be in the same time frame. It is. It just doesn't make any sense. Just doesn't make any sense. It's very strange. So yeah, so 1 million years BC, a lot of the Harryhausen stuff, Clash of the Titans, of course, not really dinosaurs, but you have the Kraken and all that kind of crazy nonsense. Yeah. Of course, Godzilla movies came out in the 50s and 60s. That's old school stuff. I'm actually kind of running through. Oh, incidentally, did you know that I watched Son of Kong too. Son of Kong came out. I think this might be the fastest sequel ever made. It came out 9 months after the original.
Wow.
That's
it came out. Yeah, Hollywood came out in the same year as the original movie. How ridiculous is that?
Wow. Yeah, because considering how long it takes for them to make movies.
Yeah. Well, and you had to do all that stop motion work and stuff. I mean, they had to have been like on it, like. Let's go. We're making a sequel. Let's go, guys.
I think this is going to be a good movie, so let's go ahead and start something that's related
Let's go ahead and Back to the Future 3 this thing.
Yeah. Basically, that's exactly what happened.
Maybe they had like enough extra footage. They're like, well, we can make a whole another movie out of this.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a Snyder cut situation. No. It was a completely different movie. It's a really wonky movie. Once you get to the island, it's actually okay. But like the first half of the movie is really like you could tell that they didn't know what they were doing. They had a good concept. It's actually a direct sequel. Carl Denham is like bankrupt, and it goes directly from King Kong. But it takes way too long to actually get to the island and find Kong and. I won't spoil it for those that haven't seen it, but
like
almost 100 years, but I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people probably haven't seen Son of Kong. I mean, I'm a huge fan of kaiju stuff. I've literally only seen it twice. Once many, many years ago, and I just popped open my Blu-ray. It was brand new Blu-ray, and it was the first time I had seen that. So yeah. Oh, Valley of Gwangi. Yeah, that. You know what? This is one that I haven't actually seen. I've seen pieces of it. But I believe that's another Harryhausen movie, is Valley of Gwangi, and that's like cowboys versus dinosaurs, right? Yep. If I'm recalling right, I recall this scene where they're running around and they're like lassoing him or something. Like that's burned in my head.
I remember that. That was a good one. Actually, I liked it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one I haven't seen. I mean, there's a lot of dinosaur stuff I haven't seen, but that one is one of those that's like you would think I would have gotten to it. And as we've done these movies, these movie shows. I've discovered a lot of movies that I'm like, dude, I probably should have seen that, and I haven't done so, which is kind of strange.
I'm looking at a list of like top 10 dinosaur movies. Night of the Museum is number 7.
What?
Night of the Museum.
It's got a dinosaur skeleton.
It's got a skeleton.
Ben Stiller, freaking Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt. Are you kidding me? That's in the top 10.
That's a sketchy top 10. I'll give you that's a sketchy top 10.
Disney's Dinosaurs number 5.
Oh,
I'm guessing number 1 is Jurassic Park. Yeah, number 1 is Jurassic Park. Number 2 is Jurassic World. Number 3 is Land Before Time.
Number 2 is Jurassic World.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, it'd be Lost World.
So guys,
Lost World isn't even on the list.
Huh.
Well, Lost World shouldn't be on the list. That's a terrible movie.
Oh, it's a great Vince Vaughn film.
It's a terrible movie. Here's actually one, guys, that I just found. I was looking on a list myself. This actually goes back to our time travel episode that we did a few weeks ago, but it's a dinosaur movie too. It's called Sound of Thunder. Chicago 2055. Charles Hatton has made a fortune by founding Time Safari, which offers rich big game hunters short time travels to kill off dinosaurs just before their natural death.
Wait, hold on.
Total Recall with
Lost World had a guy hunting down the T-Rex.
Yeah,
but
so
he didn't travel in time.
Yeah, he didn't travel in time.
Well, all right, fair enough. You didn't need to because John Hammond cloned him.
I clarified it's a time travel movie right off the bat, guys.
That's pretty damn amazing. I have not heard of that one.
When did that come out?
2005?
Huh.
2005?
Oh.
Yeah. Straight to video. Oh, sure.
Did you ever see Velocipaster?
No.
Yep.
No.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Do you remember the Carnosaur movies?
Yes, I've only seen the first one. I remember Siskel and Ebert. Gene Siskel. Yeah, Gene Siskel was the skinny one, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Ebert hated that movie, and Siskel went to war for that movie. Like in their reviews, he loved that freaking Carnosaur movie, man. I don't know why he loved it, but but I remember those guys like just battling it out. Like, what are you talking about? You're an idiot. This is a great, blah 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 blah. So yeah,
I've seen every damn one of them.
Is there 4 of them? I know there's 3. Is there 4 of them?
4. Oh, there's a 4th one, and I think it was versus something.
Carnosaur
right.
versus
Carnosaur versus something.
Anaconda.
Carnosaur versus Jurassic Park.
Damn you, Sharktopus.
The Sharktopus, yeah. So Jurassic Park. Let's have a nerd war. Not Jurassic World. We're gonna leave those out because that's not a completed trilogy yet. So 1, 2, and 3, Jurassic Park.
Yep.
What's the best one?
The first one. First one's obviously, yeah.
David?
First one.
You're insane. You're both insane.
Why?
You're both insane. I'm going to go Gene Siskel all over your asses. Now, I will say this. Without it, the other two don't exist. So it has to be. It's a good movie. There's nothing wrong with the movie.
Oh, no.
Well, obviously, you're not picking Lost World because you just trashed it.
Yeah.
That's correct. But the problem that I have with number 1, and it's not really a problem so much because it's not a bad movie. But from a rewatchability standpoint, I don't want to sit there and watch, hey guys, I'm Mr. DNA and I'm going to make some dinosaurs.
Tell you how I made the dinosaurs through a fun animated cartoon.
I just don't want to see it. Now, easy enough that I can fast forward it. Like, that's fine. But because the beginning is a little on the slow side, it's an origin story. So sometimes those things are slow. Because and when you start with the third one, immediately you have pterodactyls trying to eat kids. I'm like, yes, this is the movie that we want to go with. I love Jurassic Park 3. I think it's a fantastic adventure movie. Now, it does not have any of the moral stuff that the first one has. Like, should we do this? Should we do that? Like, all of that is really encased in the first one. Even the second one doesn't have it. At that point, you're just doing adventure movies, in the park.
The kid got T-Rex piss in a bottle. Which I think that would have been a fun scene to see him do.
To watch him do, some cut scene. Yeah, how do you collect that piss, man?
But the first movie. So the first movie, I mean, it starts out very Spielberg-esque, where you don't see the monster, you don't see the Velociraptor, the dude.
Yep.
You just see what's happening from the outsider's view. The shoot, and then he gets eaten. But I mean, that starts out pretty.
No, cool. That's a good start.
Very beginning.
It's a good start. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, I like the scene where the dude is like freaking the kid out with the raptor claw. He's like, I'm gonna cut you open and eat you alive. Like, it's all good. It's all good.
That is Freddy Krueger's son in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, Dream Child. Yep. Fun fact: everyone thinks that's Jake Gyllenhaal, but it's not Jake Gyllenhaal.
No. It's the kid from.
They think it's Fat Jake Gyllenhaal.
I would not.
Like, story-wise, that was supposed to be like, what's his name's part from Jurassic World? That was supposed to be him grown up, and I'm like,
oh, Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt's supposed to be that kid.
Right. Yeah, that was the rumor. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And I'm like,
which would have been funny if that was the case. So William's like, yeah, it's annoying, but they have that explanation scene. We just talked about how Land of the Lost introduced advanced concepts without explaining them. It just went. Now, Here's the thing, though. There's nothing advanced about Jurassic Park 3. Nothing. It is purely an adventure story. They're not doing anything outside of telling you that adventure story. There's no subtext there, where there is a lot of subtext in Jurassic Park, which elevates it for sure. But for me, a lot of times when I think about which one do I like the most, it's from a rewatchability standpoint. And which one can I put the DVD in and I am just entertained, and I'm not like, okay, dinosaurs and the thing, and I'm on my phone. Like, I don't want those scenes anymore. They're good when they first come out in the first couple of watches, but then it's like, I don't want these origins anymore.
Lost World. I mean, Lost World had a lot of they had over 100 dudes. And you knew by the end of the movie, Jeff Goldblum, Vince Vaughn, and the redhead were the only ones going to make it off that island. Everyone else is going to get eaten alive. But it's fun to see the progression of how they all got eaten alive. But
Jurassic Park, Lost World had that dumb kid doing gymnastics, kicking velociraptors in the face, and then basically the ending is just King Kong. Hey, let's bring a dinosaur back, and then it's going to run through the streets. It was a highly derivative movie.
How did he eat everybody on the ship and then go back and then shut the door? That's another big flaw in that movie.
Because awesome writing.
Also, I will give part 3 credit.
Yeah,
part 3 didn't go the whole T-Rex route. They were like, fuck it, we've done enough of the T-Rex.
Yeah.
We let them move in the city. You can't one up that any way, shape, or form if you're only going to have 5 people on this island. Here's a new dinosaur.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got the Spinosaurus, you got the pterodactyls finally, which were cool.
Finally.
Yep. Obviously you still had the raptors. Whatever. I love the scene where I'm just laughing because it's great. They're going down the river and they hear that, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? And that dude got ate, and it's inside the Spinosaurus. That was great. That was a super cool scene. So I love Jurassic Park 3 more than the other 2. I would definitely go 3, 1, 2 for sure. Definitely 3, 1, 2. There's just too much about 2 that bothers me. And then you end up with a King Kong ending. So it's kind of like,
I remember seeing 2 in the theater and I was so bored. I don't know why. Like I never could put my finger on it. I was just like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah.
The dude getting fucked up by the little tiny dinosaurs. Like,
yes, the kid.
And he just like runs over the log, and then all of a sudden he's like, ah! And then like it's just like a bunch of blood.
Yeah, dude, that's right.
It's like, you mean to tell me those little dinosaurs fucked him up that bad? Like he could have just run up the hill and be like, hey, shoot these motherfuckers. But no.
It's more really good writing, Jim. Really good writing in that movie.
And then going through the big grass, it's like, why don't you just go around the big grass over to where the building was instead of just going through it and then get murked out?
You got these guys hunting dinosaurs. None of them are like even blink an eye.
No.
They're just like, oh yeah, this is a dinosaur. Okay. Like it's so stupid. It's so stupid. And that's fine. We've talked about stupid movies before, but that one's just stupid. And I never want to watch it again. Never ever again. I'll probably watch it. I actually will probably watch it again because we're going to kind of do a little more of a deep dive Jurassic Park at some point, especially once Jurassic World is done. We can kind of compare the trilogies and stuff. So we'll probably watch it again then.
I don't think we'll ever go back to the islands. I think that's done.
I think Islands is done.
Well, yeah, I mean, you've got this situation with Jurassic World where you're on the mainland now. Dinosaurs are there. So whoops.
I did like in 3 that William H. Macy hired Sam Neill. He's like, well, you've been here before. He's like, that was the other island, you asshole. Like, you didn't read my books.
Yeah.
Like,
that was the other island.
You should have got Malcolm. You should have got. Where's Jeff Goldblum? He should have been here.
Yeah, right.
Although, but when you look at the scenes in 3, and you look at the scenes in 2, like it's the same island, but it doesn't look. None of the scenes really match up. It's supposed to be the same island, but like the whole abandoned. Like, also, why don't they just like destroy these buildings? Because this goes into the Jurassic World. In Jurassic World, you see parts of Jurassic Park.
Right.
Still there. Why didn't they tear that down? Why did they keep it there?
Because there's no point.
Yeah, there's no point in it.
There's no point. I mean, seriously, like look at our society, a human society. There are ruins around the world for all kinds of societies, and they're just sitting there. Like, why don't we just bulldoze that shit down and put a skyscraper up?
Makes sense. Well, I guess also maybe the reason why is maybe dinosaurs. They're like, fuck that. I'm not fucking tearing this building down.
Yeah, also true. Yeah. Also true. Yeah.
Two. Oh man, I'll tell you what though. 2 is got to be the bloodiest one because it's just like everyone fucking dies. I had all the toys for 2, because so 2 came out 98. Like it came out the same year as Godzilla, I think.
Yeah, 98. I think
that was a big dinosaur year. That was I had the fucking
Mighty Joe Young came out that year too.
The 8 movie.
Yeah.
Mighty Joe Young. Yeah,
I liked it.
I had a Jeff Goldblum on a fucking what's the one where they fly through the air? It's like it's a bar. Parasailing. No, not parasailing. Whatever. You know what I'm fucking talking about.
That was the third one, wasn't it?
Yeah. The hang gliding.
Hang gliding, yes. So the Jeff Goldblum action figure for Lost World is him on a hang glider, but there's none of that in the movie.
No.
There's never a scene where he's just like fucking just flying over the whole fucking island on that.
Of course not. They're just selling toys, dude. That's all. They're like, hey, Jeff Goldblum's like this scientist, and we need to make him like an action hero. Let's give him, give him something to do.
They kill the dog in that movie too. They eat a dog.
Yep.
T-Rex eats a dog.
I mean, I'll give him props for some of that stuff.
They John Wick that dog.
Yeah. Good thing that wasn't John Wick's house. Oh man, he would have fucked that dinosaur up.
The dinosaur would have been fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. They got islands and dinosaurs, and it's weird.
It's a hard one to think about.
3 though. I mean, 3. They had like the Nestle sponsorship because he's in the Nestle truck, which didn't make any sense to me. Like, why would a chocolate company have a truck out at Jurassic Park where literally no other sponsorships were ever there? And all of a sudden, hey, look, he's in an abandoned Nestle truck in the middle of the jungle. The middle of the jungle. Like, if it was a Jurassic Park truck, it would have made more sense. Just saying. But I guess the kid had to survive off chocolate for 3 weeks, so hey, Nestle Crunch, that's the candy bar for me if I'm going in the jungle on the dinosaur island.
David just froze.
There we go. I lost everybody for a second.
Speaking of Nestle, that movie had so much impact on me that now I buy the water.
Now all he does is buy Nestle water. Fantastic. Oh my God! This has become a Jurassic Park show. We need to save this. So I'm running through this list that I have here. There is an old movie that I have not seen yet. Actually, it's The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Yep.
Which is actually predates Godzilla, which is interesting. 1953 came out before Godzilla did. Yeah, interesting. There is The Lost World from 1925, from way back in the day.
I wonder where they got that name from.
It had Jeff Goldblum's great grandfather in it.
There's Caveman made this list. Oh my God.
Yeah, hell yeah, it did.
Then they remade Lost World in 1960.
God.
What? Jesus.
How many knew there was so many Lost Worlds?
Yeah, you would think that like Jurassic Park 2, like they would have come up with a better name. They're like, well, there's all these Lost World movies. Let's just name it Jurassic Park Lost World.
Well, no, that's exactly why they did it. They were playing homage to the Lost World. That's 100%. They did that on purpose. That was a chosen thing. It was not an accident.
Jurassic Park 2. Park's open.
Park's open. Here we go. Oh my God.
Do you think if Jurassic Park really happened, they closed it because of COVID-19?
What? What? Okay, that's officially so. That's a wrap, everybody. Tonight we are done. David has gone off the reservation.
Well, I mean, do you think dinosaurs could get COVID-19?
Well, I think the dinosaurs eating people would have shut the park down before COVID-19 shut it down.
You never know. John Hammond tried to cover it up a little bit.
More than likely.
Yeah. That's the thing of 2. Like they never really explain the whole incident. No. John Hammond, and then he dies. They kill him off. They're like, yeah, he's dead.
He's gone.
He's in part 2 for like a scene, and he's like old and decrepit now. And it's like, come on, he's alive. He's healthy. It
was a few years ago.
If he's got money to clone dinosaurs, I'm pretty sure he's got money to stay alive for a little bit longer. Unless he blew it all in the park and then it didn't make any money.
Spared
no
expense.
That would have been
spared no expense.
Spared no expense.
A lot of lawsuits.
That's a fun drinking game if you watch Jurassic Park. And if you take a shot every time John Hammond comes on and says spared no expense, by the time the Jeeps stop in the movie, you'll be pretty buzzed, if not already blacked out. Once the T-Rex shows up, you shouldn't be able to remember most of it.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up here. Quick recap. Thank you to Wesley Eure for coming on today. This was an amazing episode. I'm probably going to have to go back and watch that first hour and just Just smile and laugh through it all again. Thank you. Big thanks for him. Land of the Lost fans, those that joined us earlier on, thank you for joining us as well. We are going to be back, guys, on Saturday. This coming Saturday.
Oh shit! So I have less time now.
We're doing we're doing 2 episodes this week, and then Saturday is going to become our normal show day. So it's going to be Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. We have not chosen our subject just yet, although Jim seems to have an idea.
Snyder Cut.
Oh God.
I'm only on part 2 of that movie. I haven't made it that far.
we have to have a 4-hour show to talk about the 4-hour movie.
We'll watch it. We'll stream it live while critiquing it.
We'll do 6 parts of the show.
Right. We'll break it into 6 parts plus an epilogue. Yeah. I like that. That's good. That's good. Well done, sir. Well done. I like it.
I can't wait for part 3 where you'll see me grab a hot dog and put it in my pocket.
Spoiler alert, man. Spoiler alert.
Watch it.
How do you kill the parademons? Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Friday the 13th, part 9.
Hot dogs is the
2021.
Oh, dude. Yeah. What if we get Zack Snyder to do our show, and then like he changes our mind about the Snyder Cut, like kind of like what
let me tell you what the odds of that happening are.
Well, look, it took us 5 episodes of talking about Jason Goes to Hell to get Adam Marcus. So if we just do every episode about the Snyder Cut, then who knows? It could be 2 episodes in and be like, you know what? I want to go on the show to explain myself. And then here we are.
I want to explain myself, guys. Yeah, that's happened. That's the way that happens. That's the way that happens.
Anything. What else is he going to do right now? He's not making a sequel. So
he just made a zombie movie.
Yeah.
What zombie movie?
It's going on Netflix.
What's it called?
War of Zombies or something?
War of the Dead or something? Yeah,
War of the Dead.
That.
When's that come out? I want to watch that.
Soon. Yeah, like in the next month or so.
I recently watched Dawn of the Dead, the one that he did, because I was trying to watch the old one. And then
in the mall. The one that happens in the mall?
Yeah. That's the mall one, yeah. That's my favorite. Well, Day's my favorite one, but then the mall one's like second best.
I like the mall one had some good stuff because it went outside some of the borders. Like you had Zombie Girl, right? Wasn't there a Zombie Girl in that at the beginning?
Yeah.
Like a kid.
Yeah.
So it was a zombie kid, and then there was the zombie baby because she got bit, and then it like became zombie baby, and they were like trying to hide that she got bit. So there was some really kind of crazy stuff, and then there was the one dude from Modern Family who's like banging chicks on the screen, and he's like
right before he gets to be on like the biggest sitcom of the 21st century, and he's just like, I'm just like, fuck you guys, I got my boat and I got my keys right here, and you're gonna build everything for me on the car. And it's got the guy who got fucked in the ass in Pulp Fiction, Ving Rhames.
Ving Rhames, yeah.
That's
it had a good cast. It has a good cast.
It's like you could do 100 films after doing a film getting fucked in the ass, and that's always what you're going to be known as. Like it's like the guy from Deliverance, and then the guy from Pulp Fiction. Like no matter what.
I know he's been in a lot of stuff. The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is Talladega Nights. That's it. Pulp Fiction, Talladega Nights.
I watched earlier today because it was on.
What, Talladega Nights?
Yep.
Sure. Hey, Will Ferrell, you're welcome to come on and defend your movie too if you want to try and do that.
Guys,
good luck.
Prepared for the Big Bang Theory.
What?
Did you remember that part of the movie, like when he's got the little firework, he's going to shoot at the dinosaur, and he's like, "Prepare for the Big Bang."
Yeah, dude, I have washed that movie from my head. Washed that movie from my head. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. All right, guys.
I just remember that.
We're gonna bug out. We have done our obligatory nearly 2 hours. Again, thanks to Wesley for showing up. This was super fun. We'll try and get him back when he's got all of his other stuff happening that he can actually talk about, which will be cool. And yes, Ving Rhames was in the Mission Impossible movies. That is correct. See, I know he's in a ton of things. All I can think of is, don't you put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't you put that on me. That's all I can think of right now.
Really quick, what was the movie Senior Moment? And when's it come out?
Senior Moment comes out March 26, 2021.
Yes,
Yep.
Wesley makes a quick appearance, apparently, along with
Starring
William Shatner and Christopher Lloyd. Doesn't sound terrible.
No,
I mean, it doesn't sound terrible.
I was sold.
I haven't seen Shatner in anything like since Dodgeball.
Who was he in Dodgeball?
He was the commissioner of Dodgeball.
Was he?
Yeah, he's at the very end. Very end.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. Forgot about that. There's so many other people in that movie that like it's like a blink and you'll miss it kind of thing.
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's tons of cameos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to do it. We will be announcing what we're going to do on Saturday at some point this week, so keep your eyes open. Everybody's welcome to come back, chit chat, talk about the movies, tell us what you think, tell us why we're right, tell us why we're wrong. That's what this is all about. There's no right answers when you're talking about movies, folks.
All about.
And with that, we'll see y'all next week or in 6 days.
6 days.
Bye-bye, folks.